Shikina.
So, my name is Shikina of Shikina Mediation and Arbitration, and so I want to talk to you a little bit about my background, and then I want to talk about how 9 years ago, when I started fighting in Muay Thai kickboxing, how that informs my business practice today. So I know last time I talked about how my theater background informs that, so today I'm going to do part 2 and talk a little bit about how my fighting career has informed my business career. Okay, so as Sam mentioned, I am from Louisiana. I grew up in Cajun country, so southern Louisiana, and my parents are immigrants. Both of them are from Okinawa, Japan. And so my father was here as an international student for the first 16 years of my life. So I basically had a student dad. And then later I moved to Ohio, and then right after college, my last year of college, I moved to the Czech Republic and lived there for 3 years. Studied Czech theater history, Czech language, became fluent in the Czech language, and then when I moved to Hawaii, I studied theater directing in theater in Hawaii. So then I sort of moved around the globe a little bit. And so then I'm now here for 20 years in San Francisco Bay Area, okay? So about 9 years ago, I started a more rigorous exercising regimen, and I joined a Muay Thai kickboxing boot camp. And so I started training, and then my trainer at the time asked me if I wanted to fight in the ring. And I was like, no. Because I didn't want to get punched in the face. However, he kept asking me and encouraging me, so I started weighing the pros and cons of why I should or shouldn't fight. So I thought about it, and I thought, okay, my trainer is actually an ex-professional. He used to fight for several decades as a professional Muay Thai kickboxer. So I wanted to think about what it would feel like to get trained by a professional, right? Then I also thought about the fact that one of the reasons why I didn't want to do it is because it was very scary. And so, being who I am, I typically walk towards my fear so that I can get rid of it. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just do it because of the fact that it is extremely scary to get into the ring and fight someone that you don't know, and you don't know their abilities. Like, how good are they compared to you? So then I finally decided, sure, I'm going to go ahead and fight. So I committed. And what I committed to was attending a national tournament in Iowa for my very first fight. And not only that, they have a beginners group, and then those people have 1 to 3 fights, and the advanced group has 4 or more. And because my trainer became really good when he lost, he decided, I'm going to put Alice in the advanced group without telling her. So he signed me up for the advanced for my very first Muay Thai kickboxing fight.
Oh, no.
So anyway, so then began the 3-month-long process of training. And this included 3 hours a day, 6 days a week of training. I trained an hour and a half in the morning, so from 6 to 7:30 in the morning I was training, and then again from 6 to 7:30 p.m. I was training. So on both ends, and my only day off was Sundays. I also altered my diet because he wanted me to lose 15 pounds in those 3 months. So I worked very, very hard, and interestingly enough, you would think that it's just physical, like you're just training. But it was extraordinarily emotional because A, you're exhausted, so already it's kind of difficult to keep your emotions together because you're very, very tired, so you don't have that extra energy to remain, calm and steady. And also for 3 months, you're kind of freaking out about the opponent that you're going to get into the ring with. And I have I don't even have a name of a person, so I can't even look them up because this is a sort of tournament where you get matched up the day before. So I have no clue who this person is. I have no clue how many fights they've done because I'm obviously going into the advanced group, so they could have 20 fights. I have no idea. So this is sort of the mental game that I have to play with myself to try to keep myself calm because there's this overwhelming, very large fear that is coming at me day after day. I'm very exhausted from training 3 hours a day and dieting. I started the paleo diet at the time, so I took out all bread and coffee and and sugar. And so because of that, I kind of had to like really fight a mental game. And the other thing that's interesting when you're doing this type of work is it's extremely lonely. Because I did not have other people in the workout group, aside from one guy, who was actually training to fight. So you're doing something that no one else is doing. So you don't have, at that level, even if it's amateur, you don't, unless you're with a gym and a bunch of people are training together, you actually don't have people that you can commiserate with when you're feeling exhausted, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling down. You can't just call up your buddy and say, how are you feeling? Because no one else is doing what I was doing. I was running through the Golden Gate Park at 5:30 in the morning by myself. It was pitch dark, and I was running alone, right? And then when I told my coach, I'm like really nervous, like what if someone attacks me? He's like, no one's gonna attack you, Alice. You can just like attack them back, so I'm not really worried about that. So in any case, so 3 months goes by, and I go to my first fight in Iowa. Hundreds of people there from all over the United States, and I fight my first fight. I didn't win, but I also did not get knocked out. So I hung in there the whole time, and also I was very aggressive, so the fight was really interesting for the people to watch. Like I had video of it, so like as soon as we started fighting, it was not the kind of fight where two fighters are sort of like sussing each other out and nothing's really happening. Like I literally like went forward at the girl immediately. So it was an exciting fight. Needless to say, several years later, now that I'm running my own business, some of the takeaways that I brought from that experience to my business are these things. Is that when you are trying to do something that you really want to do, you have to have a singular focus. You really have to keep your eye on the ball, right? That's what I do with my business, just like that's what I did when I was training to fight. You really have to keep your eye on the ball. You can't just eat a muffin here or there. You can't just drink a Coke here or there. You literally have to stick to the diet or you don't hit weight because you have to get on the scale the day before. And the day before, I had to lose another 1 or 2 pounds. I had to put on in 90-degree weather. I put on sweats and I jumped rope. And prior to that, a week before, I was in the sauna punching, like I was practicing with someone, a partner, and punching while I was in the sauna. So my partner could always leave, and then the next person would come in and be my partner. So they were switching out, and I couldn't leave. I was stuck in the sauna, like boxing inside of a very hot sauna, trying to lose the weight. So you're cutting weights, you can't take your eye off the ball, because if you take your eye off the ball, you don't make your goal. You don't make your goal weight, and you're not ready for the fight, right? The other thing is that when you get to a place where you're being an entrepreneur, sometimes it can be lonely because maybe your other friends aren't entrepreneurs. Maybe your other friends have regular jobs. So then that type of loneliness I've learned to cope with and learn to be much stronger as a person to be able to just go forward and just do what I do, regardless of what other people are doing. And even if you have no one to commiserate with or ask questions of, I still am able to bring that to my practice. So a lot of these things definitely inform who I am today. It was a very, very difficult journey, and it's a very emotional journey. And one of the things that I'll never forget is the day before the fight. I was very, very nervous, and they had a meeting, and the other coach from another state was there, and he was talking to all of us, and he said one thing that changed my entire perspective. He told us, the fight is over. All the training that you did, all the dieting you did, that was the fight. Tomorrow, when you go into the ring, enjoy it. It's the cherry on top. It's what you fought for. And so if you just change your perspective a little bit and realize like what the fight actually is, you can actually enjoy the thing at the end because it's not actually the fight. The fight was the 3 months leading up to the actual event, right? And so the morning when I went to fight, I was standing about 5 minutes before getting into the ring, and even though it was my first fight, even though I didn't know who my opponent was, even if I didn't know how much experience my opponent had, I was extraordinarily calm. Because of the fact that mentally I realized, okay, the fight is over, this is just for me to enjoy. So when I'm working hard in my business, when I'm working hard for my mediations, I always feel like the fight is the preparation. And then when you're actually doing the work, that's what you deserve. That's the gift at the end of it all. So that's my story of how that happened. just want to talk very briefly about, I have I think about a minute left, Sam, a little, give or take. My clients are divorcing couples. I help a lot of them. They can be with or without attorneys. Usually if they have attorneys, they're not at the mediation. I just mediate it, and then they go back to their attorneys to make sure that everything looks good for the agreement. I've mediated several times with Al for personal injuries, small auto accidents. So helped his clients also with their small accident insurance claims, and a lot of landlord tenants. So when they have issues with landlord tenants, and also family matters. I've done things with fathers and daughters, with brothers and sisters. So a lot of times there are family conflicts that no longer allow the members to speak to each other. So it's not even a conflict, there's no communication. And so they want to repair those because of the fact that they're related and they're family members. So I go in there and I try to unravel all the sticky stuff that's